Hello, everybody. You have just tuned in to the best outdoor fishing show on the internet. That's right. This is Tackle Talk Live. I'm Ranger Diver Pro Staffer Steve Graff, along with my good buddy, just fresh back from Florida. Got a good tan, been laying out in the sun, chilling out with a bunch of softball girls. And they brought back a third-place World Championship, coming in third in the World Championship tournament down in Florida. Was you on Florida or Alabama?
Actually, in Orange Beach, yeah. Alabama.
Orange Beach. And so congratulations
Thank
to
you.
Emery
I
and y'all.
appreciate it.
And Kevin's one of the coaches with that group. And that's quite an accomplishment. I know I've been there and done that. And it's just a great way. And I guess that ends your season?
It ends our season for 8U. We'll be starting 10U in the fall with that same group of girls.
Yeah, there you go. So good times. Now you can concentrate on fishing again.
Yes.
And,
I was just talking about getting the boat back out today. Softball is over.
Yeah.
I can get the boat out of the garage today, get it all cleaned up, ready to get some fishing in.
All right. We're going to talk some fishing here real quick. We got a special guest today, the winner of the Mega Bass Tournament, Bass Champs Mega Bass, was held at Lake Fork a couple of weeks ago. We've got Tommy Ellis is going to be on with us to tell us how he caught the big ones and the big one that won him $15,000 cash plus a brand new 20-foot Skeeter bass boat. And so we're looking forward to seeing exactly how he did that. And he's got a little backstory he's going to tell us. It's pretty cool. I think you'll really find it interesting. You might have a box of Kleenex handy because you might need it. So, but looking forward to that as well. Got some news, information on FLW, MLW.
Well, it's next week is August, and we've got a lot going on.
Yeah,
The BASS event was held last week on St. Lawrence River. They absolutely whacked them on the St. Lawrence. It took 98 pounds for a 4-day event to win that.
Right.
The Mississippi River, the FLW Super Tournament, on
which
the Mississippi,
be the
second one on the Mississippi River up in Wisconsin. It starts this week. Bass Champs coming up on Toledo Bend this weekend, which we're going to dive into. That's going to be a very interesting tournament, in my opinion. Talking to some people about everything going on in the lake with the new weather, all the rain we're getting, and it's not as hot. The fish, I heard they really bit this past weekend.
Yeah.
I've talked to numerous guys that said their best file would have went over 20 this past weekend.
Well, I think the tropical storm system that came through South Texas has had an effect in our area as well, which dropped a lot of rain on us from Natchitoches all the way over to Toledo Bend towards Sam Rayburn. So we've got, really, Kevin, our lakes are up for this time of year.
Oh, yeah. No,
I know. We're right here on the banks of Sibley Lake in Natchitoches, and it's full. I mean, it's up to the flush with the bottom of my dock. And
we've got a lot of rain. There's no doubt. We've got a lot of rain, and but for this time of year, we're usually dead. It's wide open in the sport of bass fishing right now.
It really is.
So.
And these cloudy days kind of keep the temperatures down as well. Makes you want to get out there and fish a little bit. Real quick, Kevin's going to tell us about the boat shop. And as well, and I'll tell you about 3J's four-way in just a second.
All right, the boat shop. Mr. Raymond Kidd and his staff take great pride in keeping your boat and motor performing at its best. A certified Yamaha dealer and home of the best motor on the market today, the Yamaha Show. The boat shop also has one of the best aluminum boats made, the Sea Arc. Not only that, they're also a full support Garmin dealer offering the best in electronics and the new Garmin trolling motor. So stop by 2410 Sanford Avenue in Shreveport and let the boat shop take care of all your boating needs. Give them a call at 318-402-0399 or go to shreveportboatshop.com.
All right. Well, while Kevin gets Tommy Ellis on real quick, I'm going to tell you about Cypress Knee and 3J's four-way just south of Nax, right there on Highway 1. Guys, if you're looking, and gals, if you're looking to get ready for dove season, John Abraham and his guys will have a great selection of ammo. They're going to have they got a great selection of guns to choose from. They've got great product down there. They got dove decoys. They'll have whatever you need to make your dove hunting trip special and have a good time out there. As we kind of kick off hunting season, they also got great supply of fishing supplies from Strike King, Sandtone, and the best soft plastics made by V&M Baits. You got a full selection, a whole wall full of V&M Baits down there as well. So make sure you check it out. They got a great deli. Crispitos, that's an enemy of mine. Crispito needs to be on my X list because they're addictive. If you ever have one Crispito, you'll want two. So don't buy one, buy two. And but John Abraham's got a great deli down there from fried chicken. They got special lunches every single day down there. So check it out, 3J's Four-Way, and right inside the same building is Cypress Knee Outdoors. You can walk from one to the other, and you can go from eating to buying everything you need for hunting or fishing right there at Cypress Knee Outdoors. You can give them a call at 318-238-HUNT. Make sure you take exit 127 off I-49 just south of Natchitoches, and that'll take you right to it. So thank you, John Abraham, for all your support. All right, Kevin, who we got?
Mr. Tommy Ellis. Mr. Tommy, you with us on the phone?
Yes, sir.
I appreciate you joining us today, and congratulations on your big win last weekend.
Well, thank you.
I asked him earlier, Kevin, had he been to the bank yet, but had the wife spent the cash already?
Or have you put the boat up for sale yet?
No, it's not going up for sale. I've had a couple of people ask about it, and that one's not going anywhere. My old boat, yeah. Anybody looking for a champion, I may have a good one for sale.
Okay.
Oh,
All right. So
there
that's one of the first ones I've heard of that won a boat that's actually going to keep it.
To keep it.
So that's good to hear. That's good to hear. So Mr. Tommy Ellis won the Bass Champs Mega Bass event on Lake Fort this past weekend with a 10.49 pound bass. He won the hour, of course, for $15,000, and then won a ZX. Correct me if I'm wrong. ZX 200. Correct.
Yeah, 20-foot skeeter.
Correct, Mr. Tommy. You won the ZX 200.
It is, yes, the ZX 200 with a Yamaha 200 show on it.
Now, Mr. Tommy, you're from Athens, around the Ruston, Louisiana area, correct?
Yes, sir.
Is Lake Fort something you fish a lot, or are you over there quite a bit, or?
I hadn't fished it in about 5 years.
Wow.
The Sealy Outdoors tournaments, I fished Rayburn, Toledo Bend, and Fork, but I hadn't been on Fork in the last, I think it's been about 5 years.
So,
Fished yet.
just kind of a little backstory here. Did you get over for any pre-fishing?
Yeah.
If you haven't been there in 5 years, was the first day you've been on that lake in 5 years the tournament day, or kind of how'd that go down?
We rode around a little bit Saturday evening. I've got my fishing partner, Rick Rhodes. He lives right there on Lake Fork, and he had been around looking at some spots that we were going to try. And it just so happened this spot, we had been sitting out on a point away from a point that he wanted to go to, and there was two boats that had been on it for about an hour. When they left, we eased over there. We were there 15 minutes. And
Good
got a
day.
big bite.
Yeah. What was you doing? What was you doing to get the big bite? Was you deep cranking? Was you dragging the Carolina rig? What was you doing out there, Tommy?
I was Carolina rigging, and had been casting towards the bank, and I've got I don't know what it is. Anytime I see two stick-ups beside each other, I always throw by them. That's just a habit I've done all my life. I turned around and looked behind me, and there it was, and threw in. I don't think it made it to the bottom.
Oh, wow. How deep of water was it?
Yeah.
I was sitting about 10 foot of water, throwing in 23 foot.
Now, Tommy, is this a spot you fished before?
First time I'd been in that area.
Really?
Wow.
It was just, as me and you talked earlier today, actually, Tommy and I talked earlier today. You know, Tommy, we talked about how Iaconelli and some of the pros have said, when it's your turn, isn't it?
Yes, sir. There's no doubt about it. I've been telling myself for years I'm going to win one of these days, and it finally happened.
Now, you've had a history, like you said, of fishing these big bass events. And you told me on the phone earlier that you've come in second a couple of times late in the day. Somebody's come in right after you and weighed something late.
Well, being in the weighing line, you could be in first or 10th and get bumped out. I've been bumped out of the money on several of those hourly weigh-ins. But you're going to move seats, and sometimes it'll make you sick.
Well, I can tell you this, with a 1049, you're not going to move very far.
Yeah. Now, you also told me that you took your polygraph they were giving it to you a little bit early, and you came out of the trailer after taking the polygraph, and what was the next situation you got real nervous?
Well, when I come out from getting the polygraph, there was 7 fish over the slot in the weigh-in line.
Oh. I mean, over the slot means it's bigger than
24.
You know, well, I'm saying it's like it's at least a.
Well, it could be. I caught
an
a 6
8.
that was over actually one time.
Yeah,
It's
that's
rare.
true.
It's
In this
rare,
time
but-
of year, yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, you're coming out from taking the polygraph to hopefully win this thing, and there's that many overs in line. Yeah, it's gonna make you pretty nervous, no doubt about that.
Yes.
Well, they asked me if I was going to show any emotion or get excited at any point in time. This was when I weighed it in at 12, and I said, "Well, I will eventually when it's over." I said, "Because it can happen in a split second. You're only fishing for one cast."
Yeah.
Now, Mr. Tommy, that morning up, I mean, you waited in at noon there, and that morning, did y'all have any fish to bring to the scales, or was that the only fish that y'all caught that day that y'all were able to get a check with?
That was the only check fish. Now I caught 3 that morning. Had one that's about 23 inches, and had 2 under the slot, 15 and a half, that I probably should have weighed.
Oh yeah.
After looking at the board after it was over, but
I think you come out all right.
Yeah.
I think you come out all right on that end.
Now, you was also telling me, Tommy, a little backstory about your situation, how all of this just almost did not happen. Give us a little background on that, if you don't mind.
well, in 2018 in December, my heart decided to quit on me. I went into V-Fib and hit the floor. And thank God my wife's a nurse and knew exactly what to do. And better yet, she wasn't mad at me. She started CPR on me and kept me going to the paramedics got there. I was in the hospital for about a week. I've got a pacemaker defibrillator now, but it's a pretty scary situation there for a while. And it still is. It's unnerving to walk around wondering if this is going to be the last time something happens. But God's good. He has put me where He's wanted me and put me in my place more times than not.
Well, and I
But
think
it's definitely been a blessing.
you also dedicated this past win to a friend of yours before this tournament even began.
Yes, sir. I've got a good friend of mine. He was a mentor for me when I started my oil field welding business, Joe Richards. Joe was a real good friend of mine. I did a lot of work with him, fished with him several times, and I tried to get a hold to him. I called him in April of, I think it was 2018. It was the last time I tried to, last time I actually talked to him. And I called him 2 or 3 more times, never could get a hold to him. Well, Saturday on the way down there, I called, and it said the number had been disconnected. So I called a mutual friend that they used to ride 4-wheelers together and asked if she had his number, and she told me no, he died. So I got his son's phone number, son and daughter's phone number, and called. I just wanted to talk with him, and basically because I just found out. And told Mike a story about me and Joe fishing across the road from his house. I asked him if he fished on that end of the pond. He said he don't fish down there. So that's directly where I go. On the second cast, I caught a 780. And we laughed. And he said, "Boy, you beat all I ever seen." But when I got off the phone with Mike, I told him that because I knew how much he loved to fish, and he'd always talked about fishing with his son. I told him, I said, "I'm going to fish this one for Joe." Well, apparently the little fellow was watching over me because it happened.
Yeah.
I mean, I got another situation there that ain't one of my good friends at home, Jeremy Starkey. Me and him were going to fish together, and he backed out. He ended up sick, was running fever, and didn't want to be out, and was needing some graphs on his boat. And I told him, "I'll bring my graphs, and we'll put them on your boat. We'll hook them up. Ain't no problem." I said, "Besides that," I said, "Boy, if I win it all, I'm just going to give them to you." You know where that went.
Yeah, exactly. Sounds like you lost on that deal there.
I mailed him 2 graphs and a structure scan Friday, so
Wow.
He come out winning on that deal for sure.
Yeah.
he
So-
came out pretty good. He good old boy. we hunt and fish together. Been doing this for a long time, but
So you won the Skeeter ZX200, which you said you're keeping. So now you're putting your champion up for sale. Are we going to try to continue this luck? Are you coming down to fish the Big Bass Splash on Sam Rayburn in October?
I'll be there in October, and I'll be on 4th September.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, that is.
Yeah,
it's coming
yeah,
back on
yep. Got
September
Fort coming up
4th.
as well.
Good deal. Good deal.
Well, Tommy, we appreciate you, man, and again, congratulations and job well done. And hey, sometimes, like I said, when it's your turn, it's your turn. But it sounded like you had some divine intervention there, and it's just funny how those things happened. I actually won the biggest tournament of my life about 2 months after my mom had passed away, and I still say she was looking over my shoulder at the same time. So it's funny how those things happen when they happen. You can't explain it. You just know that there's something greater than what we have here on earth. There's something greater out there that definitely can make a big difference in a person's life and can make things happen when you least expect it.
Well, I start every tournament the same way every time, and the partners that I fish with know it. Before we crank the boat up and back up, I'm gonna take my hat off and I'm gonna say a prayer for all the anglers that are there to make sure everybody gets home, and it's a good routine to get into, because when you get out there on the lake and you start watching the sun come up, you really appreciate the blessings that he has given us.
Yep.
No,
You're right.
I agree 100%.
And unless you're a hunter or a fisherman, you don't get to see those experiences. I've seen some of the prettiest sunrises that I've ever seen. I've actually got pictures on my phone of some of the most beautiful sunrises I've ever witnessed, and I wouldn't get to see that if I wasn't a hunter or a fisherman.
That's right.
So,
well, Mr. Tommy, we appreciate you coming on and telling us a little bit about your story, and good luck the rest of the year fishing out of your new Skeeter.
yeah, man.
Well, thank you. Y'all have a good day.
Yes,
All
sir.
right. Tommy Ellis, the winner of the Bass Champs Mega Bass Tournament, held a couple of weeks ago on over on Lake Fork. And real quick, Kevin, we've got some information that we want to pass along about. This was a record-setting event.
Correct.
Chad said 1,800 anglers signed up for this event.
Yeah, 1,800 competitors on Lake Fork.
Yeah.
Now, if you just, let's say there's 2 people in every boat, that's 900 boats on Lake Fork. And for those, most of you know, Lake Fork is not that big.
No, it's not. It's not a Toledo Bend or Rayburn.
When he says there was 2 other boats on the point where he wanted to fish, I'm surprised there wasn't 15.
Yeah, exactly.
But it had 1,800 competitors, which is a huge, huge event for that lake.
Right.
And I know there was several. There was a lot more overs weighed in
Than I expected.
than I ever expected
Me
for
too.
to be late July.
Yep.
But Lake Fork is fishing very well right now.
Right.
I've got a good friend, Jason Kahn, who's on the V&M Pro staff, and Mr. Randy Oldfield over there, that they have really been catching some giants over there the past couple of weeks. I don't know what's going on in Lake Fork. I don't know if it's the high water,
Right.
this weather we got going on, but they're catching them.
I'm headed over there Wednesday, and I'll be fishing Wednesday and Thursday with a good friend of mine, Johnny Geis over there. I'll be going out with Johnny, and looking forward to that trip. It's always good when you go out with those good Lake Fork guys. It took an 8.37 to win an hour in this event. You had to have at least an 8.37. The guy I feel sorry for is the Daryl Dodd from Como, Texas. He had a 981 and finished second. And it's the same hour that Tommy weighed his 1049 in.
And make sure we explain why we feel sorry for him. 9.81. Second place pays
$1,000.
$1,000.
$1,000.
First place pays $15,000.
Yes.
If he was to have waited one more hour, or would have waited an hour before, he would have won $14,000 more dollars.
Yes,
so
exactly.
That had to have stung a little bit for him, and we hate that for him.
And 3 times took a 2.33 was weighed in for the last place check of the hour. Again, they had 87 anglers collected a check in this event out of 1,800. And so, again, congratulations. Again, Bass Champs and Chad Potts, they do a wonderful job. It's an absolutely awesome circuit to fish and to follow, whether it's their team trail or whether it's their big bass events. They have the Berkeley Philly. They got the Mega Bass, and they've always got something going on all the way into the fall. They got their team championship coming up, I think, in October.
October, yes.
So,
And they have. All right, let's jump to this. They have Bass Champs. Their regular season. This is the postponed event that is happening this weekend on Toledo Bend.
Right.
And I'm really. And this is going to be a 3-fish limit.
Yep.
So it's going to be a little bit of a big fish tournament type tournament. I'm really interested. Steve, we know a couple weeks ago that they had the Sealy Outdoors tournament on Toledo.
Right.
We were all shocked at the weights that were weighed in.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
And hearing from several guys that I know that was practicing for that champs event this past weekend on Toledo, they had a very good practice.
Is it going to take 20
3 fish
to win this event?
I don't know. I would say no. But
18?
I'm going to say 17 or 18.
Yeah.
And 3 fish in August,
Right.
on Toledo, that's 3 fish, 17 or 18 pounds. That's a big stringer. I know we see the 20-pound bags on Rayburn. If we had a 3-fish event on Rayburn this weekend, I don't know if we'd see a 20-pound bag there either.
But if you get that 10-pounder in a boat, you catch a 6 and a 5.
Yeah.
You're over that 20-pound
You're
mark.
over that. You're over that. I just think I'm
the odds aren't good
tough.
in July.
That's tough.
Late July. Really heading into August.
There will be several 12 to 14-pound bags.
Right.
There will be several of those.
Yeah.
Several guys I talked to had, hey, we had a 20-pound plus 5-fish stringer this weekend. So
Yeah.
it's hard to get those 8, 9, 10-pound bites. As you saw in the Sealy's, there is a bunch of 4, 5, and 6-pounders, though, that are biting right now. So
now, these guys that you're talking to, is there still a frog bite? A couple of weeks ago, there was a good frog bite going on.
There's a little bit, but the big ones are being caught offshore.
They're out.
They're a big worm offshore.
Yeah. So get out there, drag a worm, drag a football head jig, whatever. Shake your head. So, well, that's a little bit on Toledo Bend. That's where Bass Champs will be this coming weekend. So if you're interested, and maybe, you're not following the circuit, but you want to try Bass Champs out. You want to see what it's all about. And maybe they're getting ready to release their 2021 schedule really quick.
Right.
So that's in the works. Chad and them getting ready to put that out there. So if you want to just see what this event is like and what this circuit and this trail, again, Chad Potts and them do a tremendous job. I've never heard anybody say anything negative about Bass Champs tournament trails. So it's a great circuit to follow. All right. Other fishing news. Let's jump into the other fishing news. The Elite Series, the Canadian brothers. One of them decided to win an event here, and it's Chris Johnston. Kevin,
the first Canadian to ever win a BASS Elite event. So he made history. But and what was awesome for me is this event was again on ESPN2 Live. So BASS Live was on ESPN2, and I got to watch several of it. Again, I was down in Orange Beach playing softball with my daughter, but we got rained out a couple days, and I was able to sit in the condo and watch BAS Live on ESPN2, which is awesome. I'm glad they got that up and going. But Steve, I watched a couple days of that. My goodness, you talk about make you want to go to St. Lawrence River, right? And jump on a plane and go fishing. Chris Johnson weighed in 4-day event. Weighed in 97 pounds and 8 ounces.
Yeah.
Day 1, he had 27 pounds. This is all smallmouth.
Right.
Day 1, he had 27 pounds. Day 2, he had 24 pounds, 12 ounces. Day 3, he had 23 pounds. And day 4, he had 22.12 of all smallmouth.
Nothing, no bag smaller than 22 pounds
That
in
is
4 days in a row.
Yeah.
Dude, that is crazy. That is literally insane. Paul Mueller came in second. He also, had his final day, he had 18.15, which is his smallest bag. And he was only 2 pounds, a little less than 2 pounds away from winning this event. Had he had a better day 4, just another pound and a half.
It was his event to lose, and
exactly.
he just had and you say a bad day. He had 18-15 of smallmouth.
Yeah, exactly.
But Brock Mosley finished out third with 84.2. Chad Morgenthaler finished fourth. Micah Frazier, then down all the way down in the seventh. Corey Johnson, Chris's brother, finished seventh. That is their home body of water, Steve.
It is.
They're from Canada.
That's their neck of the woods.
But they're about 30 minutes north into Canada on the St. Lawrence River. That is their home body of water.
Right.
Brad Watley from Texarkana, Texas, finished ninth, so a Texas boy. Clark Winlet also, I'm sorry, I forgot about Clark.
Clark's a good friend of mine.
In Texas, 8th and 9th place was 2 Texas boys up there competing, catching smallmouth. And then 10th place, Brandon Polinick, rounded out top 10. What an awesome event I'm just glad that type of event was on ESPN2. And kind of let the world sneak into an awesome St. Lawrence River fishery that they can watch those massive smallmouth get caught.
And kudos to BASS for doing these shows live with ESPN2. I think that has really taken bass fishing to another level. We've always been waiting on the day, even when even the Bassmaster Classic, folks, has not been covered live on national television. So hopefully that's coming this next Classic. I hope they decide to do that as well.
Yeah.
But again, kudos to Bassmaster and BASS for the job well done with the Elite Series. And let's see here. The FLW Super Tournaments, Kevin's already mentioned earlier. They're headed for the Mississippi River, which will start this Wednesday. And that's the northern end of Mississippi River, right?
Correct. Wisconsin.
Up in Wisconsin.
Up in Wisconsin, where they go every year. An open, FLW, BASS, somebody is there every year.
Is this a mixed bag event or a smallmouth?
It's going to be, no. A smallmouth might get you a check. It's going to be won by largemouth.
Okay.
It'll be won by largemouth. It is hydrilla, grass, frogging, flipping, power fishing, cranking the rocks type of deal. But here's the most interesting thing with that event is it's on a small pool, and this is a super tournament.
Okay, so they're going to be guys on top of each other?
200 boats, I think.
Yeah, probably.
So that's what's going to make that very interesting is it's going to be hard to get away from anybody. A lot of times on the Mississippi River, that you can go here and get in this oxbow and get away from some people. It's not happening.
So tempers will be tested here.
Yes. They will be words said. I can promise you that.
It'll be a little crossfire, a little talk across the bow.
Yes. So you'll probably be able to watch live and watch about 5 boats at a time. I mean, honestly, it is a small body of water. And that many people. Well, and the areas to win is very small. And I've never been there. This is all coming to me from my pros and people that I've talked to up there. The areas that you can actually win the event in is just small areas here and there, and they all know where those areas are.
Which means this lake fish is small.
Correct.
So, and can a guy, though, Kevin, go away from the mainstream and the main thought and maybe sneak out a win here in some out of the way place?
No, I don't see it.
Is this a current situation?
Could be, but those current fish are not going to win it for you.
Yeah,
they're not. They're not the size you need. Those backwater hydrilla fields where all the largemouth are is where it will be.
Right.
There's just no doubt about it. Now you will see a lot of guys out there trying to do that. Hey, I'm just here to get my check.
Right.
Because for points, this is a big points race. This is a close points race. Get your $10,000-$12,000 check and go to the house.
Yeah.
So you will see guys doing that. But for guys that want to go for the win, they're going to be in the backwater hydrilla areas for sure.
Right. Also coming up, upcoming events, we already talked about Bass Champs headed for Toledo Bend. That's the Eastern Division Team Trail. ABA Bass Pro Shop Open Series will be headed for Sam Rayburn August 15th out of Humphrey Pavilion. This is a makeup tournament. This is right before this circuit heads to Lake Texoma for its 2-day championship, which combines 2 divisions over there in Texas for a 2-day championship on September 12th and 13th. Also think we've got Sealy coming up.
Yes, over on Sealy's Big Bass Bash on Lake Fork.
Yeah.
September 18th, 19th, and 20th. And then the Cowboy Division BFL Super Tournament is 2-day on championship on Sam Rayburn, September 26th and 27th.
Yeah. So, and we'll talk about more of those.
We got a lot more. We got so much stuff everywhere, all over this calendar right now. We might have overlooked something. We'll get our calendar narrowed down a little bit better for the upcoming fall here. But that's the stuff we know we have coming up. Throughout September.
And normally, though, this time of year, we're struggling to figure out what to talk about because bass tournaments are usually been shut down by now.
Right.
But due to COVID-19, postponements and rescheduling, we really had plenty to talk about. So it's kind of worked out great.
And next week, hopefully, everything works out right. We want to, and we'd like to have the winner from the Bass Champs event on Toledo Bend on the show next week.
Yeah.
So hopefully, I'm really anxious in that event, Steve. I think it's going to go very well. I really do.
I hope so. I hope they catch them. And again, Toledo Bend and the lake is back up again.
It is.
All the rain we've had. So there could be a shallow bite.
Could be. Absolutely.
Could be a shallow bite this week over Toledo Bend. So now I want to give you another reminder. I've done it. I did it last week. I'm going to do it again. Don't forget your fishing license. If you're a Louisiana native, they have expired as of July 30th.
And in Texas, you only got 1 more month.
Yeah, exactly. August 30th, Texas expires, but you can renew your license now. I did mine last week for Louisiana, so I'm good to go for the next year. And you can do it online, or you can go to a store that carries license. the thing, if you print it online, you're using regular paper. To whereas if you get a Texas, if they send it, that's Louisiana Department of Wildlife and Fisheries sends it to you. It comes on the good paper that you can write on it. It's waterproof.
Yeah.
But I just laminate mine, and it works just fine for me. But not everybody likes to do that. So, and not everybody has access to a laminator right there in their office either. So, but anyway, make sure you get your license renewed. And again, as of August the 1st, that's when Texas allows you a month in advance, even though it doesn't expire till the 31st. You can start ordering your new license for 2021 by August 1. So
correct.
Make sure you take care of that.
Guys, make sure and go give all of our sponsors a like on Facebook. The Boat Shop,
Yes.
you can like their page. 3J's Four-Way, make sure it's Cypress Knee Outdoors, like their page. For all you guys coming to fish Toledo Bend from South Louisiana, you can stop right there on I-49. It's about 4 miles south of the Natchitoches exit.
Yep, 4 or 5 miles.
Take that exit there. They got a great supply of fishing tackle, food, gas, get you ready to get to the lake. Make sure you give them a check out. Also, don't forget, the Boat Shop is a Garmin authorized dealer. They can work on your Garmin trolling motors. They can work on your Garmin units. I know we have that question an awful lot. The Garmin units are so popular now, but not a whole lot of people work on them. The Boat Shop is licensed and ready to work on your Garmin units.
And if you're interested in becoming a sponsor of Tackle Talk Live, make sure you go to our Facebook page, message us. Kevin or I, one of us will be back in touch with you. We'll send you a packet as to what that entails. It's money well spent, or we're continuing to grow this audience. We really appreciate it. And we thank each and every one of you guys that tune us in each and every week. And we can't say thank you enough, because that's what makes this show go. It's what allows us to gain more sponsorship by more viewers. So we do appreciate each and every one of you. Help us spread the word if you don't mind. Share it with all your friends. Let them know we come on every Monday at 12 noon. And we do focus on Sam Rayburn, Toledo Bend, and Fork. This region of East Texas. That is our main focus, because that seems to be where we're getting the most attention based off the viewership. And you guys, it seems to be when we talk about those topics, those lakes, our numbers are up, our viewership is up. So we hear you. We're watching what's going on. We're paying attention. So we do thank you. We can't say, again, thank you enough. Also, we want to thank Tommy Ellis for joining us today, telling us his backstory about his big win at Lake Fork. And Kevin, anything else?
Make sure to tune in next week. We'll be covering the Bass Champs Toledo Bend event, kind of go over, how it was won, and hopefully tips and techniques on that. And, all the events coming up. The FLW Super Tournament will be live this week from the Wisconsin, so you can check that out. We'll cover that with the winners as well next week, and we should be good to go, Steve.
Once again, thank you to the Boat Shop, Raymond Kidd. Thank you, John Abraham, Cypress Knee, 3J's Four-Way down there. Stay tuned. The Tackle Talk Tip of the Week is coming up. I've got a special product I'm going to introduce to you. If you're not using them, I know this is a product me and Kevin both use. They don't sponsor the show. And we're going to tell you from time to time about products that don't sponsor our show, because we use them, we believe in them. We want you to use them as well. So thank you for tuning us in. If you want to continue to be a better angler, continue to watch Tackle Talk Live. I'm Ranger Dye with Pro Staffer Steve Graff, and this is this week's Tackle Talk Live Tip of the Week. Today we're going to talk tungsten. All tungsten is not created equal. Trust me on that one. I've tried them all. I've used every brand on the market, and then there's one I finally have settled on that I've come back to that's actually made right here in the Arklatex region in Shreveport, Louisiana. Elite Tungsten. This is the best that there is. It is got good smooth finishes inside and out. You don't have to worry about line cutting. You don't have to worry about any kind of insert that you've got to use. These come right out of the package, ready to go. Got good powder coat painting on them to make them basically chip free, and they hold their color. But here's the best part about these weights. They put the size on the weight. That's exactly, you can read it. You ain't got to line them up and say, is that a 1/4 ounce? Is that a 3/16? It's written on the weight. So if you're not using the Elite, folks, you're not using the best. So hey, check them out. Elite Tungsten. It's the only tungsten you will ever need again. This is this week's Tackle Talk Live Tip of the Week.